since I've been asked about how I mark my my blades so deep, I figure I will at least give you at least a little show, because once you find out how ridiculously easy it is, you kind of wonder why every knife maker doesn't have a nice mark. So anyway, in a nutshell, I get my stencils from IMG Imaging, also the electrolyte from them. Although I'm almost out of this, and I did order some from Tracy Mickley. He's got a really nice site, all manner of things, one-stop shopping. And I am using a Personalizer Plus. It gives me both AC and DC for etching and marking. And basically, it's here's how we do it. So I get the acetone out, because you got to make sure you got your blade well finished or well cleaned. And there's at least one person out there right now that's looking at this and going, I know that knife is mine. It's a little overdue, but you know, we'll get her out of here. So it's cleaned, acetone, it's dried, it's a clean stencil. It's not a new stencil. You can reuse these multiple times. Once they start to give you a slightly hazy mark, then you just get rid of them. They're cheap enough that you just end up use them for 20, 30 times, and then pitch them. So some things that I do that other makers don't do, some of them actually don't tape the stencil to the blade. I tape it to the blade so I don't worry about it moving around on me. And I need... That's only because my alligator clips are getting rather old and crusty, so that I get the most conductivity through them. I just kind of put a little dampness on them. So the other thing that I do a little funny is I put my electrolyte on the table just to get it started, because if you try and pour it right directly on the felt, it ends up just like the surface tension keeps it from actually getting into the felt. But okay, so I've cleaned the blade, taped down the stencil, I'm on etch, and I'm going to turn on the juice. And what's happening now is the electricity is working with the saline solution. I just turned it off. It's working with the saline solution to eat into the steel. Now this blade is CPM 154 stainless, and the hardness is 62, 63 hardness. But so all I'm doing, and I'm going up to about level 4 out of 5 right now. I have found that to be a real big deal. The biggest deal is as the oxides are being, actually as the steel is being etched away, it can actually start to block your mark. So you want to make sure you wipe them down, even with just the pad. And we're going to do this just a handful of times here. And it's one of those things you'll get a feel for how deep it's etching by the noise it's making, which is kind of funny. And this pad is just slightly damp, and that's all the more it normally needs. Just adding a hair more. It just didn't seem like I had quite enough on there, but damp is, for the most part, all you need. I think most of the time that people see these marks is that they're not deep is due to the fact that they're not marking them for depth. They're just marking them for the color. Now with me, I can't understand not marking the blade so deep that, well, as Dave would put it, he tried to grind, or he thinned out one of the knives that I did, and he still didn't get my name off of it. And I kind of like that, because, well, you put 8 or 10 hours into a blade and handle, and, you know, why not put a couple extra minutes into the mark and make sure it's there for good. I don't want somebody grinding away, or if they do want to thin something out, you know, I don't want to lose the value of having my name on it, if, you know, there's value associated with such things. So that was a full power up to the power level 5. I don't play around with the 1, 2, 3 level much. And the thing of it is once I get done marking this, even if it is a little cloudy, I go back to the grinder and touch it up. Or if it was a hand sanded blade, I would take a leather backed stick. There we go. Again with my sticks, leather backed stick and whatever grit I had finished at, and just go back over it lightly. That's all there is to taking that cloudy portion away. There's that. Now, so what I've done now is I've eaten into the steel, and if I wanted to have a silver mark, that'd be all I would do. Due to the fact that I like a black mark, I actually switch it from etch down to mark, and we're still damp there. And now, I don't think you can hear it, but it buzzes. The DC really does buzz, and this is the part that's marking. Creating a black oxide into the depth now, and again, this is where some people say, well, the mark isn't that deep or whatnot, and this is, once you get it in there, it's in there. You don't want to go back and forth with the mark and the etch to try and get it deeper. I tried that in the very beginning, and that really does it wallows out the mark, because of the way it interacts, the way the DC burns versus the AC. So we're just about done here. Alright, that should just about do it. I can look. It's not too bad. It's not the deepest mark I've ever made, but it's not bad. And I'll put that up there until I can throw it away. And to keep the black in the mark, I will set it with acetone. And you can see if I get this about right. I don't know if it's going to zoom in there real well or not, but you can see I have a nice mark that way. But it's still hazy. It's hazy around there, even after cleaning up. So my next steps with this will be using a little Windex to stop any kind of reaction that's there. Clean it real well, because again, we're using electrolyte salts. Don't want anything left over for later down the road for in transit and shipping, where it could get some little rust spots on it, and then I have to repair it. But all I have to do now is the handle's only temporary pinned on, for that matter. I'll take that handle off, use the Scotch-Brite, clean it all up, and then I'll put the handle back on, glue it, or it'll be all epoxied together, and then I'll finish it out. This blade actually will be finished out this evening. So, in a nutshell, you can see just how quickly you can put a nice mark on something, and again, it makes you wonder why so many knife makers out there have a mark that just it looks like it was almost drawn on, and you could wipe it off with your hand. But here we go. Like I said, I don't know how this droid actually does for focus, and this light's being fun, but there it is.